Because of the attacks of Israel, many civilian losses of death took place, and we clearly expressed our stance. Two Palestinian kids were injured because of the attacks, and last week, with their parents, they were transferred to Ankara City Hospital for their treatment. I pray for the mercy of God on all our martyr brothers and sisters who lost their lives because of the attacks that took place, and I wish a quick recovery to all the wounded. The actions that aim to change the status of Jerusalem are never accepted by our side, and we express our expectations in the clearest way to our Israeli counterparts. We have shared those, and we do express those. The steps taken for normalization with Israel will never deplete the support we have for the Palestinian cause. On the contrary, this will contribute to further improvement of the Palestinian people's status, and this is also expressed by our Palestinian brothers and sisters. The efforts to ensure unity and reconciliation among our Palestinian brothers is what we have been following very closely, and we are ready to support all we can. TICA, Turkish Crescent, and Turkish NGOs have humanitarian and development assistance programs ongoing. Because of the Russia-Ukraine war, to protect our food safety, there have been certain restrictions we have practiced. We have not, but included Palestine into it. The free industrial zone project of Jenin is conducted by TOBB of Turkey. The TOBB delegation visited Palestine and conducted relevant work in field. The Quds University dorm for girls will be constructed fully with the was supported and constructed by TICA. And this dorm was named after my late mother, and I have been very pleased because of that. Distinguished members of press, we attach great importance to the United Nations humanitarian aid program for the Palestinian people. The food and financial assistance we have for the program is ongoing, as we did in the past. We are aware of the economic problems that the agency is going through. To tackle the finance problem of the agency and to make sure that the agency can run the activities about and for the Palestinian people, this is of great importance. We will continue with our efforts in this regard. We will also continue supporting the Palestinian institutions and authorities. The Palestinian Youth Orchestra in July, under the auspices of my wife, the First Lady, performed at a concert for the abroad visits of our Palestinian brothers and sisters. We're happy that they choose Turkey as a destination. And we also promote tourism for Palestine from Turkey, in particular Quds. The capital of Palestine in 1967 was established, and it is important to preserve its status in the most sensitive way possible. I would like to underline. I would like to once again, using this opportunity, thank to my dear brother Mahmoud Abbas for his visit, and I hope that our talks will be auspicious for both of our countries. Thank you very much.
فخامة الأخ الرئيس Rajab Tayyip Erdogan, may God protect you. I am so happy to meet you again, dear brother, here in Ankara to discuss how to enhance the brotherly relations between our countries and peoples, and to inform you about the recent developments about the Palestinian cause. And when we meet you, Mr. Erdogan is the man of wisdom. This meeting is opportunity for exchanging views in a brotherly way about the regional issues and international issues and the role that is played by Turkey in the sector of food security around the world, and the efforts for creating stability during the difficult conditions that the world is witnessing. We try in every meeting with President Erdogan to make the brotherly relations between our countries, to push them for new horizons and for new types of cooperation. And in this regard, I would like to extend and express my gratitude for President Erdogan for his solid and stable positions with the Palestinian people in independence, and also for his keenness for the Palestinian unity. And here I thank the Turkish state and institutions for all types of support that is provided for the Palestinian people and for standing by the Palestine in international arenas. Dear ladies and gentlemen, I have informed President Erdogan about the recent conditions in Palestine, and I told him that we will not accept the aggressive practices by the Israeli occupation against our people and sacred places. And we should stop all the unilateral practices and steps by Israel that are against the international law and the signed agreements. And also, they should stop the Israeli settlement activities and the violence by settlers and the killings and demolishing of Palestinian houses and schools and buildings in our occupied Palestinian land, and to free the Palestinian prisoners and to release the bodies of the Palestinian martyrs. You can imagine that Israel is not giving back the bodies of the Palestinian martyrs. Are they punishing these dead bodies or punishing the families? And also they should stop the aggressions against the Palestinian people in the occupied East Jerusalem and the attacks on the Christian and Muslim sacred places and the attacks on the buildings and schools and attempts to Judaize them. And this is what they have done recently. And we reject all of these steps, and the people of Jerusalem will not accept this. What is done by the Israeli authorities by storming the Palestinian cities and villages on a daily basis, and what happened a few days ago when they closed civil institutions and civil rights institutions and NGOs, this will set the conditions on fire. They are attacking these NGOs and they consider them as terrorist organizations. And we cannot keep silent about these practices that should be stopped before we come to a non-returning point, because we cannot bear anymore. And we repeat here in this occasion that achieving security and stability can be done by achieving the two-state solutions and going to the political solutions, because undermining the two-state solutions that is based on the borders of 1967 and turning that into one-state solution by an apartheid system, this will not serve the security and stability in our region, but rather it will weaken the relations and the collapse of the agreements between us. For that purpose, before the deterioration of the conditions between us and the Israelis, we ask the Security Council and the organizations of the United Nations to hurry up to achieve the two-state solution. All the countries around the world, they support the two-state solution and they recognize Palestine, the state of Palestine. But some countries like the United States, they don't recognize that. Why you recognize the two-state solution and recognize Israel, but at the same time you don't recognize the state of Palestine? And also looking for ending the Israeli occupation of Palestine that is behind the 1967 borders, and also the return of the Palestinian refugees. A fair solution for the Palestinian refugees based on the resolutions from the General Assembly of the United Nations. And this needs a resolve will from all parties to achieve that. But despite all of this, we are sticking to the peaceful public resistance, and we will not seek other options, and we reject violence and terrorism around the world. This is our policy, and we will continue with this policy regardless of what Israel is doing and what they are doing now to our people, because we don't want to be criminals and terrorists like them. I have informed Mr. President that within the framework of our work to achieve the two-state solution, we demand the countries that support this solution to recognize the state of Palestine. And I've also told him that we are looking for the full membership of the United Nations. A few years ago, we have gained the right to be as an observer state in the United Nations, and the first country that supported that for achieving that observer position is the state of Turkey. They supported us against all the countries around the world until we gained that position as an observer state or as an observer member in the United Nations. And based on that, we are calling for wide-scale consultations with all the members of the Security Council and the members of the General Assembly to achieve that. And also we can hold an international conference under invitation from the Secretary General to achieve the two-state solution. Mr. President, I thank you very much for your hospitality and for receiving us here in Ankara. And everything that is done by Turkey is for the sake of the Palestinian people. And for that purpose, we highly evaluate and appreciate your efforts and activities, and we wish you continuous happiness and success. And we wish for Turkey and the Turkish people more advancement and development. Viva for the Palestinian-Turkish Brotherhood, and thank you very much. May peace be upon you.
We have been listening to Presidents Erdogan and Abbas addressing a joint press conference in the Turkish capital of Ankara. We heard some very important statements from Turkey's President Erdogan. President Erdogan basically reiterated Turkey's position when it comes to Palestine. He says that Turkey is going to continue to stand in solidarity with Palestine. And also, President Erdogan said that the steps that Turkey is taking to normalize ties with Israel will not reduce his country's support for Palestine. Let's get more on this. Joining us now live from Ankara is TRT World's diplomatic correspondent Hassan Abdul.